Hello, everyone.
Oh, hi, everyone.
Welcome to the live stream.
Welcome to the Newegg TV live stream. This is our second weekly live stream show. We're doing this on Fridays at 3 p.m., at least as of right now. My name is Paul.
I'm
here.
Kyle.
Kyle's here too. And we thank all of you for joining us on this most auspicious occasion.
Auspicious.
It is Friday afternoon, and as you can tell by the bell going off,
it's time for lunch.
It's time for our live show. All right, so what we have for you today is a wide assortment of tech news and that sort of thing. We also have Kyle, who left his audio on.
Sorry.
But at least we can now be confirmed that we are indeed streaming live.
Yes, we are.
Oh, look. There's us from a few seconds ago.
That's what we look like.
It's always fascinating.
That's terrible. That's
look
depressing.
Look at those noobs.
You got to work out.
I don't even know how this live show is going to go. Okay, but let's begin with what we kind of began with last week, which was that we do not have a name for our show yet.
Yeah.
So for now, I think we narrowed it down to a few that we kind of liked.
Alt+Tab.
And we're going with the Alt+Tab show, right?
Or just Alt+Tab.
Just Alt+Tab. We don't need the show.
Yeah. It's like how when they first did Facebook, it was like the Facebook. He's like, nah, man, just drop the. And it was just
and it was
Facebook.
Just Facebook.
And it became a website that everyone hated.
All right.
So we should totally
branding. All right, so we're going to call it Alt+Tab.
There was some. Were there some other ideas? I mean, were we? So we were going to do like a couple of them, and then they could like vote or something.
Yeah. Well, we had asked for some requests last week, and then we realized that we had no monitoring going on in the Twitch chat. So by the time we finished the show, we looked and we're like, we can't scroll back up to see what people said. So we did have some people post some comments on the live stream upload to YouTube, which we should be uploading this on Monday. And technical difficulties?
Yeah, we think you let it drop. We're good? Okay.
Oh, it says 0 dropped.
Steve ruins everything.
I know. Come on.
That guy.
Yeah, we can go through the crew though right now. Kyle and myself, of course. We also got Steve and Mike Ches out there in the background, monitoring chat, making sure everything's nice and smooth. But yeah, so we're going to be doing some Twitter interaction with you guys. If you guys have a Twitter account, you can tweet to @ForeverAKyle for Kyle, or @PaulHardware for me. Although, just do both of us because Kyle's really going to be pulling those up. And I think that's the introduction to the show, right?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's get started here. With the Alt+Tab show, copyright,
Alt+Tab.
let us know what you think of that name. And then, again, for Twitter questions, last week we were asking people to tweet with the hashtag #NotNerdyEnough. That's completely optional if you want to do that or not. But ask us some questions. We'll be coming back to that in just a few moments. But onwards and upwards with our first very important news story. Let me just switch this over here. This is also my first time actually operating the live stream here. So we have to give a big shout out to Steve. Oh, wait. I didn't put our first story in there. Got a big shout out to Steve for setting all this up, so things are looking a little bit prettier now, hopefully. And our first story is from BuzzFeed. Sorry about that, but it's kind of entertaining. If you guys haven't already been watching the Sochi Winter Games in Sochi, Russia, they've started. I think the opening ceremonies just happened. But Kyle talked on Yoked last week a little bit about this. There was a bit of questions going on about the Sochi Olympics and how ready Sochi as a city was going to be ready for all of the Olympians to arrive and all the press and everything. And there was a lot of speculation that they weren't. But now that press actually has begun to arrive, we're seeing a lot of tweets and funny stories. So BuzzFeed kind of collected these together. It's photographic proof that Sochi is a godforsaken hellscape right now.
Yeah, all the speculation was true.
All the speculation was true.
People are now have moved into these half-finished hotels.
Yeah, so
and the pictures are pretty hilarious.
You can see here, you got they're still putting bricks in as people are arriving. In 24 hours, 26,000 tweets have been sent using the hashtag Sochi Problems. It's cool. And then there's just a lot of fun pictures. So here's just a hallway with a bunch of bare cables running through it. This is somebody's foyer in their apartment. It has a bunch of
crazy party last night.
Hat stands and I don't know what, just a bunch of garbage strewn everywhere. Some hotels that don't have lobbies. It's always fun. Makes it easy to check in. Live wires into showers. Okay. Fixtures falling off the ceilings.
That's not what you think it is.
That's not, yeah. This, Stacy St. Clair said her hotel has no water. If restored, the front desk said, do not use on your face because it contains something very dangerous. And then the water came back.
What's concerning is that they didn't tell her what it was.
Yeah.
It's we can't really say.
Unless it's rum or something like that, but it's Russia. That would probably be vodka. All right, so here's some toilets that don't even have fixtures on them. Anyway,
that's the best. Right
very,
there.
very entertaining. I'm going to go through the rest of these a little bit more quickly. Toilets don't flush. This toilet has nothing inside of it to make it flush. There's toilets that are just side by side with nothing in between them. Which honestly is not terribly uncommon depending on how many different countries you visited with different restroom facilities. There's some honey with a bee just in there. That's fun. Here's a networking situation over there. Speaking of the internet over there, that's another story that we don't have right now, but there's some IT security professionals who went over there and just tested, set up some fake accounts, some fake names, and when they arrived in Sochi, connected to the internet there, and like within minutes, they had been hacked. Hackers who were just waiting there ready to pounce had hacked into their phones, basically had free access to all the information that was on there. So bit of a IT security nightmare, but doorknobs falling off. It's another. I wanted to get down to the bottom here though, because there's a couple more entertaining ones. So here's somebody's bedroom, and they went and memed it up with some a little bit of wrecking ball action there. Pretty fun. How to survive your stay at the Sochi Olympics. All right, that one's fake. And then okay, so here's the contrast. Apart from the all the shoddy accommodations, and then they have a bus that looks like this, which looks like it's like a spaceship.
Is that for some of the competitors?
It's like a transportation bus or something, but it's like brand new and it's really posh and everything like that. Super cool. And then the game organizer Dmitry Chernyshenko. Sorry, my Russian pronunciation is really bad. Our media hotel is not ready. Somebody's tweeting at him, and he replies and says, "To believe, you just need to turn back and look at the mountains." Solves all your problems. Okay. Anyway, so Sochi Olympics are underway, of course. We were watching some of the coverage itself, and from there you can't tell anything. I mean, the actual arenas themselves look very nice. I was watching a little bit of the slope style, which is really cool to watch. Snowboarding, that's fun. All right. That's all for our first story.
Sweet.
Let's move on to our next story. So here's a question for you guys out there. When it comes to Wi-Fi, anyone who has a router at home hopefully has gone to the required steps to secure that router, to put a password on it, to protect it somehow. So this is a story about Comcast. In delivering the router/modems to different homes, had a sort of a secondary system on the router set up, which basically broadcasts, apart from your personal private Wi-Fi connection point, broadcasts another one, which is called, what's it called?
Xfinity?
Xfinity Wi-Fi or something like that. Yeah, Xfinity Wi-Fi. So basically, you would see that other Wi-Fi access point there, and you could connect to it, and you would just have to log in with your Comcast credentials, and then you could get Wi-Fi there. So it's a weird situation, because on the one hand, yes, I don't want other people connecting to my router and doing stuff, but on the other hand, they said, it doesn't affect the bandwidth. They're connecting with their own credentials, so I would assume that anything that they did on the internet is not going to,
trace back to
you if they were to do anything illegal or something like that. So I could see people seeing this as a privacy concern, because I think that was kind of the main issue, was they didn't tell people this was happening. So it just happened and was set up, and you're like, why is this other Wi-Fi access point there? But I don't know. If it doesn't affect your bandwidth,
right.
If it's not traceable back to you, depending on what people are doing on it.
It's more of just a psychological thing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my internet that I paid for, and I don't want you to use it, and I feel insecure about it, but ultimately nothing's really changing.
I guess it really just maybe like your electricity from the router being plugged in.
That's true.
That
would be pretty annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. So
it's also probably just because they weren't Comcast wasn't transparent about it at all.
Yeah, so that's probably the big issue here, is transparency. So I mean, honestly, I feel like if you're not forced to limit your bandwidth for them or something like that, it doesn't seem like a huge deal to me. But it's one of those things, internet service providers kind of taking liberties in certain areas. This one doesn't seem like a huge problem from my perspective, but it is what it is, I suppose. And I mean, the benefit would be if you're in some random neighborhood and you're a Comcast customer, you could look for that access point and connect to it and have internet. So I guess that would be the positive aspect.
Crowdsourced Wi-Fi.
Yeah, crowdsourced Wi-Fi. All right. Next up, we have kind of a fun little story here. Nerf. Kyle, do you have any Nerf stuff when you were a kid?
Yes, I did. I think even after being a kid,
you still have Nerf stuff now?
Couple. No, I don't anymore. I wish I kept them, but I was a huge fan of Nerf guns.
Me too.
This one looks pretty sweet.
This one looks pretty awesome, and I mean, like, have you seen like the little USB launcher thing that launches the little?
Yes.
Those are cool. So this is a Nerf blaster. You know, shoots little foam darts, but it's got a video camera connected to it. So they have a video down here. I'm not sure, this wasn't playing for us earlier. I'm not sure if it's going to play for us now. But basically, it's got a screen built into it. Records stuff. You can put an SD card in it. It can do like up to 3 hours of recorded footage. It's probably not super high resolution. I don't think that was specified in the article here, but I don't know. I could see like getting a big set of these. We should do this for Newegg TV. We should get like 8 of these and go to like a field somewhere and have a big battle.
And just like super glue thumbtacks on the end of all the bullets.
Yeah. So make it actually like you could physically injure people.
Yeah. I mean, it would like raise the stakes a bit.
I was going to just have fun and shoot each other with foam darts.
We could do that too.
But
that's cool.
I guess introducing the aspect of actual pain and injury, that always ups the ante.
It does.
Yeah.
We'll think about it.
Cool. So I guess keep your eyes out for this one. It's just a prototype that they're showing right now, but cool idea, and definitely falls into the category of, man, kids these days, right?
Those
like
lucky kids.
Like I didn't have
one of these.
I didn't have anything like this when I was a little kid.
I probably would have gotten into editing a lot sooner if I had one of these. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm gonna edit like a montage of me shooting my mom in the face, or something. You know, shooting my cat.
Yeah. It says it's going to be $80 at retail. So. That's
pretty reasonable.
Seems fairly reasonable for like a high-end Nerf gun with that kind of added.
It includes a 4 gig SD card. Nice.
Oh yeah, that's the upsell right there.
Yep.
I'd buy that just for the SD card.
So 3 hours on a 4 gig card. It's probably like what, 800 by 600 resolution or something.
Cool. All right.
Not bad for a kid.
Nerf gun. I don't know if we're gonna be carrying these at Newegg or not, but if we do,
we'll get some in the office.
Try to get hold of some.
Maybe we'll have one on the next episode of Yoked or something.
All right. Next up is I found this article and I instantly thought of Kyle because Kyle likes whiskey.
I do.
So this is a little bit random for since this is a tech show, but it's an app. The limitation here, according to the article, and I didn't look this up to see if it was available on the Android store. It's only iPhone right now, but this is a whiskey app. So you get the app. It's called Distiller. You can search for recommendation, and you just kind of go through the steps. What type of whiskey are you looking for? Something new, a gift, something for your collection. What kind of whiskey experience do you have?
Oh,
Kyle would rate himself a connoisseur?
Connoisseur, appreciator, and dabbler.
I'd be like dabbler.
3.
Whiskeys, I don't drink a whole lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm more into beer, I guess. Whiskey can be dangerous.
Indeed.
I've had.
Well, that's why you have the app to help you.
That's true.
Like, how wasted do you want to get tonight? Blacked out.
Just mix this with the breathalyzer app.
There's a Justin Bieber option.
You got styles to choose from. You got. Where will you be enjoying it?
Okay.
A party, the outdoors.
We're getting there. Nice.
I didn't know this was something you needed to take into consideration when you were just trying to find have a drink. You know.
That's right.
Poker night.
They even have the bar option.
You got the
How
bar.
How offended would you be if you were a bartender and someone was like using the app to find out which whiskey is best?
So here's my question. What if you were sitting outside at an open bar playing poker by a fireplace while a party was going on a beachside restaurant with barbecue on the menu?
Where's the above all option?
That is the main. All right, I've discovered the security flaw of this app because that's clearly.
That does it. It'll never work.
Adventurous feeling and money. Nice of them to include the money option there. All right, so Kyle's gonna buy an iPhone just so he can get this app.
Yes.
Right, and then it recommends some whiskey to you, obviously. So. Clearly, we have a wide range of viewers. So if you're underage, I'm sorry, but you should not use this app and you should not be drinking. But if you're overage, then get the app and have some whiskey, right?
That's right.
Good stuff. All right, so we've kind of blown through a bunch of our initial topics here. We're gonna take a quick moment here and see if you guys have been talking to us about stuff and things.
Yes, they have. The crowd has spoken.
People have been talking. All right, we gotta see if I can figure out how to work this. All right, we're going wide here, and we're gonna do this. Yay! There we go. Adam Crazy Thomas immediately found our little Easter egg. This is Steve's Easter egg. Steve's been working on kind of the UI for our live show right now, and it's pretty awesome, I have to say. Asking if we're using Windows 95. That's a Netscape Navigator. That's what we're using here.
Yep.
Only
the latest tech for us.
Possibly Netscape Communicator. All right, yeah, that does have the Communicator tab there at the top. So
surprised it hasn't crashed on us yet.
Yes, good catch.
It's been really.
I have no idea how we have tab-based browsing. That's one of the biggest things that we have right there.
It's the latest plugin.
All right, here's another question here from Jeffrey. Jeffrey Kohler wants to know, how many of you are A+ certified? I asked because I'm currently working towards my A+. Also wondering what other credits you have or credentials. Kyle, what are you? You've got like your master's in computer science, right?
I don't think I've ever gotten an A+ in any class.
So
does that answer your question? That doesn't answer it. I don't know what will.
Yeah, the answer would be no. We're pretty much self-taught when it comes to computers. So as far as official training goes,
I'm Paul-taught.
Slim to none.
Even better. Damn.
You're supposed to keep talking while I'm drinking water.
You're right. Oh.
Reach for your water.
Let's not do that again.
Too much going on right now. No, pretty much self-taught. I mean, I started with doing a little computer building and that sort of thing in high school, and just kind of try to keep up with trends and learn where I could, and read magazines, read online articles, research, knowledge of how to use the internet and how to kind of pare down and find things. That's always very helpful, but never actually took the time to go and do the A+ certification because I never really applied for a job that looked for that type of qualification, I guess.
Right.
I know it's a hardware-based thing, because somebody asked me this question on Twitter I hope it wasn't Jeffrey, it might have been Jeffrey, and I was like, I thought it was software. I thought A+ was more of a software thing than hardware. So
I don't know that coding language.
Yeah. Nick wants to know how to tweet, and I'm glad he answered his question. He also signed it Grandma.
With love.
And then Barnacules Nerdgasm.
Barnacles.
Is it Barnacles?
It took me like 2 weeks to get it down, but it is
Barnacles. We've confirmed that.
When he says it in his videos.
Barnacules
so it's his fault
is what I want to say. Well, there's an extra U in there then.
I know. He doesn't know how to spell. It's crazy.
It's like Hercules. If you looked at Hercules, that would be Hercules.
I know. Barnacules.
Anyway.
Barnacules.
Yeah, he had a dream that Kyle kept kicking him out of the Newegg store for trying to sell his stuff to customers.
That really happened.
Cool.
He just came to the hybrid center and I had to call security.
All right, let's refresh here real quick and see how that works.
But who wouldn't buy any of Jerry's old crap though? Because he's got so much crap. Have you seen his man cave video that he does? Like I'm sure his old crap is better than my new crap. You think? Probably.
Computer stuff gets old pretty quick. I kind of have this like fall off of like stuff that I have, and I'm like, it's just a few years old. It's probably still good for something. Maybe I'll have a system, and then I have like DDR memory. It's not even like DDR2, and I'm like,
based on all of
Jerry's
videos that I've seen, it seems to me like he would update his hardware like every month.
Yeah,
he'd be like, oh well, this is outdated. This was last week.
That's the difficulty of doing YouTube videos. You kind of have to
be on the up and up.
Yeah, you have to try to keep up with it. And I realize why this isn't updating. It's because you're not favoriting anything.
I was favoriting stuff.
You favorited stuff?
People aren't interacting, man. Oh, this is a good one.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. This is our miracle system that we have here.
It's really hard to like respond to tweets and talk to the camera and you at the same time.
Are there any questions from the Twitch chat that we could fire off and answer for real quick?
I haven't really been looking at them. Let me double check here.
Kyle's been ignoring everyone in Twitch chat.
I'm sorry. It's hard to triple task here. I don't know.
What did you?
5 eyes, 1 hot machine.
Weatherman says, "Oh, Kyle!" with exclamation points.
Paul, hey, woo!
Someone said they recently went to the Will Call Hybrid Center, and wow. And they exploded.
It's very pretty at if you're in located near the City of Industry, go to the Will Call Center, the Hybrid Center, and they have a bunch of stuff set up there. It's kind of fun. You can try out some computer parts and see some cases. Steve's signaling me.
HJ Mumbley says water-cooled PC with whiskey.
Water-cooled PC with whiskey.
I'm down. I wonder how that would perform.
It
might be the same.
Well, I know like you can use, there's lots of different liquids you can use in liquid cooling. But I feel like I've heard this, I've had this question before, or somebody's asked it, but there's something about because I know alcohol has a lower freezing point than water.
True. So you could put a rig in a freezer But if it was cooled under whiskey, theoretically, like, it would just keep flowing even at a really low temperature, right? As opposed to water, which would just freeze over time. And therefore, you can overclock higher.
Clearly.
That is the point.
All right.
We are promising.
So Kyle has solved what?
Read Nick Benton's question on the chat.
All right, we got Nick here. Why didn't you guys upgrade to the AOL trial disc from the checkouts at Walmart? Well, the thing was, I already had like 700 hours, so I was like, I'm never gonna go through that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who needs? I got my
computer's too outdated to run that.
I got my 28800 baud modem, so you know.
My mom's on the phone all the time anyway.
Yeah. Also, 2 + 2, 4.
Yeah.
Dealing with the really important issues.
That's right.
Right now.
I can double check if you want me.
Trey asked if we've ever played Flappy Bird. We're gonna come back to that.
We do have a story on that.
We have a little bit on Flappy Bird for you later in the show. I know you guys have really been looking forward to that.
Everyone's like, you have a store now?
In the store.
Is it open to the UK?
All right, so guys, continue tweeting to Kyle here, and he's totally gonna be on top of that and favorite your tweets.
Silky Char said, "Paul, marry me. I want your family discounts." Well, Paul's already married, guys.
I am married, so sorry about that.
But if she's not watching, then yes.
Move to Utah or something like that, then maybe, possibly. All right, so let's continue on here on our merry way and move on to the next story here about the Woz. Steve, okay, what's up?
Oh, I was going to say really quick. JV asked, "What is the Jesus figure in the background?"
Oh, it's Gavin.
It's Gavin.
Of course.
Lord Gavin.
Lord Gavin.
To be exact.
We've been considering, actually, in future episodes, we might open up with a prayer to the tech gods, including Lord Gavin. Yes. Although we have, we're sort of still trying to set up our ascendancy at this point. We have not purified ourselves enough to present the show before them, so we want to get things worked out a little bit more.
We're still working on a design for the tabernacle
before we go that far. So next story though is people talking in the background while we're trying to do a live stream. Very common, and it's just one of those things that happens. Oh, hi Joanne. Yeah, Joanne's in here.
Joanne's making noises.
Yeah.
Joanne's here too. All right, so here's a story from about Steve Wozniak. It's on Wired, and Steve, good old Steve, the Woz, is recommending. There's a big block of text for you guys. Basically, he's suggested that Apple, who he is no longer directly affiliated with, we should point that out. He suggested Apple should create an Android powered phone. Kyle, what do you think of that?
I'm for it.
Kyle's for it.
I mean, I don't know. The only difference would be it would just look more Apple-y, right? I mean, it's still open source. It's still Android. It just looks, it's maybe in a sleeker looking case or shroud. And it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, so
I don't care.
I feel like the benefit here, or I feel like the reason, if they were ever to consider this, because I think it's pretty outside the realm of possibility, but if they were ever to consider this, they'd basically be going after that market that really likes the design, the look and feel of iPhones, because they're very well built, so they're well designed devices, but doesn't want the sort of closed atmosphere of the iOS system, that kind of closed operating system and the whole App Store thing and everything. So in that way, I could see people, you want the iPhone, but you don't want to have to root it or something like that. You just want to.
I think what Woz is saying is like you combine Android and Apple together to make a phone, and it's like the perfect phone. Like you get the best of both worlds, right? But
theoretically,
then there would be no competition.
Yeah, I like Woz though. I follow him on Twitter, and he's always tweeting about driving around in his Tesla, which is
pretty sweet.
I want a Tesla at some point.
I'd love to pull up next to Woz at a red light in his Tesla and just do one of these.
He tweets from there's a Tesla charging station, I guess, up in the Bay Area where he lives, and he goes by there all the time. So
people probably just camp out and wait for him to charge up and then attack him.
Get a Tesla. Okay, next story. This one's a little bit more techie for you guys. We've heard a lot about Google and their whole driverless car initiative. They've been working on that for a few years now and have lots of driverless cars on the roads, been doing tons of tests. So we are moving towards that. This is something I'm pretty excited about because honestly, like my wife, for example, has a really, really long commute right now. It's like an hour plus, depending on the traffic and everything. And I feel like not only would this help with traffic, but it would also just allow you to do other things while you're driving, even if it's just like zoning out or sending text messages or going on Reddit or something like that. So it seems like a good idea to move towards the driverless car thing, but of course there's a huge transition that needs to take place. Obviously there's tons of cars out on the road right now, and the driverless cars would need some way to maintain communication between itself and other vehicles, whether it's a person driving that car or whether it's a autonomous car, because obviously it's not just going to be like 1 year, hey, January 1st, nobody can drive their cars anymore. So a step towards that is the government, actually the US Department of Transportation, throwing its weight behind vehicle-to-vehicle, or V2V, communication systems. After years of experimentation and a real-world trial in Ann Arbor, Michigan, government's almost ready to make peer-to-peer networking a required safety feature on all new cars. So this is the type of thing that kind of needed to happen earlier on. They sort of create the standard, and then new cars that come out have to have that integrated into them. And then, you know, over time, the older cars start to drop out of the market, and the newer cars all have this capability. So we're talking, I mean, my guess would be this is something that's not even like a requirements right up. I mean, it might be like transparent. You might not even know it's there. You just buy the new car, it has it built in, and then a few years down the line, you start getting text messages from other cars. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How are they talking to each other? It basically just means like so they can carry on traffic, the flow of traffic, without crashing into each other, right? They're not actually saying like, hey, what's up? It's not going to be like Cars, the Pixar movie.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary from the future.
Although that would be cool.
That would be pretty sweet.
Self-driving cars that have personalities talk to you. Like I feel like that's what we should really be working towards here.
I think so too.
Who cares? Who cares how safe they are or their like record on the road? As long as they have like happy eyes and they like come up to you and talk to you in like a cartoony voice.
Like, dude, where's my car? He went to go hang out with your car. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So no, but the communication that these are actually doing, which I've totally lost in this article right here.
Is it infrared?
Oh, here we go. They share information about their position, their speed, and their heading with each other, and alerts a driver if there's potential for danger. So if a car is speeding through an intersection, or a truck's in your blind spot when you're changing lanes or something like that. So, I mean, even without talking about autonomous cars, this could really be something that is very helpful even for people who are driving their cars, because you know, it's kind of like we're seeing more of this now, like the automatic stop, the cars that have the brakes built in, so if you're about to hit something, it'll stop you at the last minute.
Right.
So I mean, I'm down for anything that you know, if it makes things more safe and it makes things more easier, it's technology working for all of us.
How do you think this will affect like liability? Like if your car is in auto mode and it just starts speeding like 20 over the limit, do you get the ticket, or does your car like go to a junkyard or something, or does your car get a ticket or something? Is it a strike against your vehicle and you get a number of strikes? Yeah. Then you get a ticket for not taking care of the problem? Like,
that's a very good question too, because that also brings up the what is going to happen, which is people who say, I don't want a driverless car. I want to drive my own car. I want to maintain that. You know,
it's freedom.
Yeah, I want to keep my freedom, or that sort of thing, to drive how I want and do what I want. So I imagine we're probably going to have cars that can do both at some point. You know, you can go driverless, you can go manual control at the same time. But yeah, liability, huge question there. Is it your car's fault or is it your fault? Can you type in like go 20 miles per hour over the speed limit or something like that?
Yeah.
And then also, of course, safety, testing and everything. I'm really glad the Google stuff has been going so well.
Yeah.
Because you know it's just going to take one like major accident or something like that to put a big scare into people and not want to go forward with the technology and all that kind of stuff. But
right.
Yeah, driverless cars and cars talking to each other.
The future.
Super cool. All right. Next up, a quick story. This is about Twitter.
Well, I've been slacking on the interactions here.
You have? Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Raise your dongers.
Internet dropped for a little bit, but we're back. So the next story we're talking about, and I don't know if any of this came through before, but Twitter just got a makeover, and we have already decided this story is stupid. Basically, the title bar is title bar. Oh, I thought it changed more. The title bar is like white now instead of black, and they updated the Twitter app kind of recently, like a couple months ago, and I hated that originally because all the icons changed and I didn't know how to get to my notifications. And then I thought this was making the Twitter align with that, but apparently it doesn't because all the icons are still the same. So the notifications icon on the mobile app and the website are still different.
That is pretty dumb.
So that's pretty dumb. So Twitter's dumb, I guess, is End of that story.
Very useful, but also dumb.
Yeah. All right. So that's enough of that. Okay. Here's an Ars Technica article, which is a little bit more interesting, hopefully. You guys are probably familiar with CAPTCHAs. You know, when you have to prove that you're human by reading some squiggly written letters on a screen. So CAPTCHAs have been known to be vulnerable and not quite 100% functional for quite some time, actually, depending on which ones they've used. They've tried to develop them. So this one's called Gotcha instead of CAPTCHA. And it's a new one. It stands for Generating Panoptic Turing Tests to Tell Computers and Humans Apart. And
I'm sure somebody was so excited when they thought of that acronym. Like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
it's perfect.
It's got a gotcha. And it takes your password. It's confusing. So the user, all right, so you punch in your password. It generates this blob of
it's like an ink blot test,
like an ink blot test there, and then you type in like phrases that describe it, and then it uses those phrases to prove that you're
what would
human.
you even say for this one? I would just say colors.
It would probably just
colors, deny me.
Colorful circles.
Yes.
Just like all of the other ones.
Confusion.
I don't know. You could probably make something out of it. It's kind of looks like a person at the bottom, you know, with like a red head.
Right. But then isn't this a bit more subjective than the CAPTCHA?
Yeah, but I think the main point here is to trick, to prevent computers from being able to circumvent it. I think that's the main goal that's right here. So I don't know. I'm personally not looking forward to using something like this because
sounds
terrible. It's kind of that variance between like doing stuff that's secure and doing stuff that's annoying. You know, as soon as it gets too annoying, then you just start to ignore it. And
it's like, sure, no one will ever hack into my email again, but then again, it's going to take me 10 minutes to log in every time.
Yeah. So
CAPTCHAs are already hard enough for me. I'll just be sit there. I'll get them wrong. I'm like, wait, is that an L or an O and a D? Like
I keep refreshing it until I get one that like is just really easy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I should take my chances.
All right. So watch out for gotchas.
Gotcha.
Aha,
and
gotcha.
it's almost provoking hackers too. Like,
oh yeah,
gotcha.
Like, hey,
they're being all pretentious about it. It's just inviting more shenanigans.
Okay, the 2014 DICE Awards were held last night. Yes. They were hosted by Felicia Day and Freddie Wong.
Sweet.
I did not see any of it because
neither did
I don't know what I was doing last night. But if you guys watch it, let us know how it went in the chat. There were some questions because apparently hosting a video game specifically award show is apparently like social networking suicide because it's impossible to like satisfy everyone because there's so many niche areas of video games and something like that. But they were saying that they were hoping Freddie and Felicia could kind of come through with that. But if you didn't get a chance to watch it, we do have some of the results here on fansided.com. This it's awards for both console games as well as PC games. So Game of the Year, The Last of Us was nominated for like 13 awards. Yeah, Naughty Dog made The Last of Us. It was nominated for 13 awards.
And it won 10 of them.
I think 9. Did it say 10?
I read 10.
Either 9 or 10, either way.
A lot.
A lot of those. So this is have you played this game? Did you play The Last of Us?
I played the demo of it at PAX last year.
Okay.
And
definitely looked.
I actually really
cool.
liked it because I was a huge fan of the Uncharted series, which is also Naughty Dog. So a lot of the mechanics were the same, and I got to play a 15-20 minute demo and I really enjoyed it. I was like, wow, I almost wish I had a PS3 to play this game.
Yeah, that's probably the one downside to this is it's PS3 only. There's no PC port. There's no Xbox on that one. So Game of the Year, The Last of Us. Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, The Last of Us. Outstanding Innovation in Gaming, The Last of Us. Original music composition went to BioShock Infinite.
That's a good call.
That's pretty cool. I like that because BioShock Infinite had all of those they were more modern songs, that they found through the interdimensional crap or whatever they did in BioShock Infinite, and they were kind of rewritten to match with the time period. So you had like Beach Boys songs being sung by a barbershop quartet and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool. And not only was it like a unique and sort of artistic way for to do the music, but it was also like part of the plot line too. So that's kind of the BioShock Infinite. Fantastic game. Definitely one of my favorite games of last year because they did such a fantastic job on that game just from a design perspective and immersing you in the story and all that good stuff. Sound design was The Last of Us. Story, outstanding achievement in story was The Last of Us. Character performance was The Last of Us. Art direction was The Last of Us. Visual engineering was The Last of Us. Gameplay engineering was Grand Theft Auto 5.
There we go.
Yeah. GTA 5. All right, we have another GTA 5 story coming up for you guys pretty soon here too. But that's cool. And I think this goes to the thing that impressed me most about GTA 5 was playing GTA 5 and then thinking back to when I first got Xbox 360. Because I got it right at launch, and I played Gun, I think was like one of the first games that came out for that. And you know, it was a decent game. It is a launch title. It was pretty minimal. But looking 8-9 years later at the same console and the amazing level of depth in that game, the fact that there's no loading.
Yeah.
And this is coming from me. I usually play PC games where I'm used to a pretty high standard, but GTA 5 was fantastic at that. So definitely deserving of that award. And of course, I'd still rather play it on PC. Animation was The Last of Us. Game of the Year was Adventure Game of the Year, I should say. Action Game of the Year was BioShock Infinite. Downloadable game was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Online game was World of Tanks.
That surprised me.
It did.
It beat out Battlefield 4 and Diablo 3 and The Last of Us, which is probably the biggest shocker. World of Tanks. I don't know if you guys ever played or have been playing it, but I've seen like a quick little demo of it, and it didn't look like anything crazy. I was like, oh, no, this is just a dime a dozen game, and it's not going to get big. You know, who cares kind of a thing. But it's been really popular, apparently. Yeah,
my brother-in-law plays it, and he'll sit there and talk to me for a very long time about, you know, what he's been playing in the game and the different tiers of tanks you can get and the different levels of gameplay. And yeah, it's just one of those games where came out, I think, fairly early on from free-to-play. A couple of years ago was kind of really starting to take off. And yeah, just one of those things, I guess. I feel like it's a concept thing that really caught on, because you think like, oh, I get to drive a tank around and shoot people. It's fun.
Sometimes the simplest games are the best ones.
Definitely.
And sometimes they're the worst ones, and we'll get to that too.
Come back to that. Casual Game of the Year, Plants vs. Zombies 2. Very, very, very happy with that one. I like Plants vs. Zombies. Mobile game, Plants vs. Zombies 2. All right, we've already gone through a lot of these. I feel like there was one or two at the bottom that I wanted to. Strategy simulation game, XCOM Enemy Within. Family Game of the Year, Super Mario 3D World.
Oh, we did a video on that one.
It's been very popular here lately. I haven't tried this one out, but it's one of those...
Jenny, Joanne, and Rachel were playing it in the other room. There's a video up on it on Newegg Arcade, I believe. If you guys want to go check that out. It's actually a pretty little fun Let's Play that they did.
Yeah, one of those Wii U games that a lot of people were waiting on. And finally, some PC love. There were some other PC games in here as well, but role-playing, massively multiplayer game of the year, Diablo 3.
I'm sure a lot of people would disagree with that, but meh.
I don't know. I got Diablo 3 because I was still playing WoW actually, and I got it free from the thing with the WoW thing. I haven't been playing WoW for quite some time now, but I played it for a while, but it didn't blow me away.
Yeah.
You know, so
didn't get me addicted like on crack like I expected it to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the times I played Diablo 2, I played extremely intensely for like 2 or 3 months at a time. Right. Over the course of like 3 years, it was like in college, and I would play it for like these short spurts, but I would play it so intensely, and then I'd be like, I have to stop. I need to uninstall this and cut myself off. And and
I think it's probably because maybe Diablo 2 was so ahead of its time at that time, and now it's not.
All right, so there's the DICE Awards. Next up, another bit of tech news here. Sony sells off VAIO PC business amid a prolonged industry slump. How many of you guys care about this?
I don't.
Kyle doesn't really care.
I want to raise my hand when you start that question so I can put my hand down.
Yeah. I imagine most of our viewers are probably more inclined towards, you know, building your own system and that sort of thing. But I mean, that's more of a limitation when it comes to laptops. The funny thing about this article, when it comes to myself personally and laptops, I've always been a Lenovo fan. And the only company to post market share and unit shipment growth has been Lenovo.
That's pretty amazing.
Because they make really solid laptops. You know, they're not all pretty like the Apple laptops and the MacBooks and stuff.
Right.
But they're sturdy. They've been using metal frames in them for the longest time. Yep. And I think that's why they're really popular for business use.
Right.
So that's probably what's been helping.
I bought my dad a Lenovo laptop for Christmas actually this year, And about a week after he got it, he said, "Dude, I'm having major issues with this laptop." I was like, "What? It's a Lenovo. They don't do that."
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? He's like, "Well, the cursor keeps like moving around the screen. It's going berserk anytime I'm typing." Turned out he was just touching the thumb pad with his wrist anytime he was typing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, just disable the touchpad and you're good to go.
That's always one of those things where there's no good place to put a touchpad.
There really isn't.
On a laptop. Some of them do it better than others. But this also brings to, there's always this larger question that we've been hearing about over the past few years, which is the PC industry as a whole sort of shrinking slowly. And it's one of those things that you hear a lot of, what do you call it? Naysaying? No, that's not the word I'm looking for. A gloom and doom, I don't know, that sort of thing about, PCs are shrinking, the sales aren't up as much. And I've said this before, I'll probably say it again, it's getting smaller, but I think the reasons are getting smaller are just as valid as the reasons why it's never actually going to die out.
Yeah.
Perhaps the period in time when people needed internet access, they needed a faster computer for that type of thing, has sort of transitioned over to people can use their phones now, or people can get a tablet. That market has been growing. But there's still a ton of things that I would never do on the tablet or phone.
Sure.
And I think that's going to stay the same. People are going to need their PCs for, there's no way we could do a live stream for you guys like we're doing right now and, have a tablet, or, I wouldn't even trust a laptop for that sort of thing.
Right.
Even like a heavy-duty gaming laptop. You probably could, but
yeah,
I feel much better with this system that we have back here behind us.
The reason why, that PC sales have been declining so much is because, well, before there was no other option.
Yeah.
You just had to have a desktop computer. And now that we have all these other devices that let us consume media a lot easier, it is more efficient. Like, I have a tablet myself, and I use it all the time when I'm at home on the couch. I'm not going to go up to my room on the desktop to look up, something on Twitter.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could never get rid of my desktop because my tablet and my smartphone are but extensions of what my desktop is capable of. So that'll never die out, I don't think.
Yeah, I have to agree. And in case you guys are wondering, it's a AMD FX 9590 that we're running in the system here behind us.
Pretty solid.
Which is doing a fantastic job. Again, the drop we had earlier was the internet dropping out, not anything wrong with this computer. Knocking on wood. Okay. Kyle, you wanna maybe check Twitch chat and favorite some stuff? I need to pull up some more stories over here and move us on to the next thing. Ooh.
We're not really getting too many questions, guys. If you haven't already, tweet at me, at Forever Kyle. Give us some good questions. I did favorite a bunch earlier.
Favorited a bunch?
I don't know if they went through because the internet was going in and out.
Let's go back here to the wide shot.
Double check.
Haha. Oh, okay, here we go. Oops, wait, I need to click this. All right. So Jeffrey asking another question here. Do you plan on having a group show with Linus and Slick ever? Like show to show, switching the main channel halfway through? We could do that.
I'm down. We've talked to like those guys about doing a collab video for quite some time now.
Yeah.
I feel like we always have all these ideas of how we can do something fun like that, but we're always so busy and we have our own agendas, and we try to get together and do stuff when we're at events, when we're actually in person and whatnot.
It's mainly like a logistical problem of getting more of us into the same place at the same time, because for us, we would need to get Newegg to sort of, either foot the bill for that or figure out how that would be paid for. Linus would need to either pay the bill himself.
Hey! Thumbs up. You'd like to see Linus pay the...
no, Linus would also need to to scam some company into paying for his team to go.
Slick could just hack it.
Slick could hack it, yeah. No, we'd love to do collaborative stuff. So definitely something like that would be cool. Again, this is our second live show, so we're still working on the basics for now. But who knows? Maybe at some point we can kind of do a handoff. I mean, this was intentional that we're doing the live show when we do it. We know that there's a lot of following for the WAN show, and we figured, hey, if people enjoy the WAN show, maybe they might enjoy talking about tech for another hour before that.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. All right, here's a question for you, Kyle.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Do you see it?
No.
You already favorited it, though.
I have
Do you guys use Bitcoin on your personal computers? Go.
No.
I was hoping you'd take up more time than that.
Yes. Oh. Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Mike over there has been doing some Bitcoining. He's had a variety of experiences with it because... Electricity, yes. Because electricity, we're in Southern California. The electricity here is good, but it's on a tiered system, which means that if you're using more electricity than you would typically use, then you do potentially, sorry if that was, no, that should be muted, then you potentially have the problem of going into a higher tier, and that means you're paying more even for the electricity that you've already used. So that's the main issue is, why can't I skip this ad? Whatever, it finished. Yeah, so the main issue with that is you get into those higher tiers and it becomes cost prohibitive, pretty much, to do that. This is not working at all. Oh.
Oh,
I have to watch 2 ads.
2 ads?
I don't know. I watched 1 ad and then it stopped and then it... Send us your tweets about watching 2 ads in a row. And the skip ad button isn't working.
Apparently, this is a Linus video.
It is a Linus video, that's why.
Linus has made his ads unskippable.
Yeah, this is how low we've fallen. We're using a Linus video as one of our talking subjects. It's okay, though. Kyle, fill some time.
Okay. All right, so what do we got here? Somebody asked earlier what the difference was between a 120 hertz and a 60 hertz monitor was.
Ah, yes.
The answer is 60 hertz.
What?
They asked what the difference was.
Oh, I get it.
Really? I thought that was like spot on. I thought, you know, you instantly be like, Kyle, you're the funniest guy I know.
You are correct. It's a correct answer. It's funny even. It just went right over my head. I thought you were going to come out with like this explanation of like refresh rates and like frame rates from your video card, and maybe go into talking about G-Sync a little bit and all this kind of stuff. But nope, 60 hertz.
Well.
Sorry. That's what I get when I ask Kyle to fill time.
Basically, if you have a higher refresh rate, you avoid the chance of ghosting and things like that. So ghosting is an effect that kind of creates like an echo effect, a visual echo, if you will, if you have an object on screen moving too fast. So if you ever watch a lot of sports and you have a low refresh rate, TV, for example, you'll notice that like the ball is kind of like got this trace behind it, and it's just kind of trailing. It's not very fun to look at when you're gaming. So occasionally, or often, you will definitely benefit. And it's really good for eye strain if you have a higher refresh rate monitor as well, because you don't get as mumuch motion blur. And there should be some cool hardware coming out for that soon. G-Sync. I can't formulate words.
Yeah. That's the beauty of G-Sync is it allows you to have your monitor's refresh rate match the frame rate that your graphics card is actually able to put out. So whereas with the 60 hertz monitor, if your graphics card can do 70 frames per second or 120 frames per second or 200 frames per second, doesn't matter. All you're seeing is as high as that refresh rate goes. With G-Sync, if your frame rate goes up to 85 frames per second, your frame rate, your monitor's refresh rate will increase to meet that. And it's basically for smooth gameplay, buttery smooth.
But you will need a G-Sync capable monitor to pull that off.
Yes, that's true.
As well as NVIDIA GPU.
And an NVIDIA GPU. All right. Are we done filling time? Do we have any other questions here for people? Let's refresh this. How many products do you guys get to test personally? As many as we can, really. There's sort of a, I mean, apart from the video production that we do here, we do have some time to test products. So I've been doing a 4-way GTX 780 Ti. A bit of benchmarking on that, so you guys should be able to see that video this weekend. I think it's going to go up on Saturday or Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then we get to set stuff up and test it. There's just such a wide variety of products. I always feel like there's something I could be testing or working on or whatever. Yeah. But that's kind of how life is. It's busy and there's lots of stuff going on. Indeed. But yeah, it's really fun. That's one of my favorite parts about this job is being able to I mean, like 4-way 780 Ti, I would never in a million years buy those cards or set that up at home, personally. You'll see why, because the scaling isn't all that great. When will we have another live build? That's a good question. Soon? I know we have something in the works.
Do we? Live?
I know we have builds coming up, because for us with builds, it's like we got to get all the parts first, so we have to start pretty early kind of requesting them, because there's usually like 1 or 2 parts that don't come in in time, and then you have to wait or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty good.
We could probably make one of the upcoming builds live. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I think we could do that. We're going to try to keep the live stream as the live stream. So if we do another live thing, it would probably be a separate video, but we'll let you guys know if we have that set up. Oh, here's an actual tech hardware question. Kyle, you wanna field this one?
Okie dokie.
You gotta look over here though.
Oh.
or over there. I forgot that what I do here doesn't show on your laptop.
Do you think a 4670K and a GTX 760 would be fine for 1080 gaming? And maybe some Dogecoin mining. I pronounced that right.
Dogecoin?
Yes, I think that would be more than fine. Unless you're talking about 1080 gaming while Dogecoin mining at the same time.
Yeah.
Then you would definitely have some issues there. But
yeah.
One or the other, sure, why not?
4670 is great for 1080 gaming.
Yeah.
760 also great for 1080 gaming. Not quite as great for the mining.
Right.
If you really want a mining card, go AMD. Yep, Chez is nodding his head over there too. Yep. But that is also the reason why AMD cards right now cost more than you might otherwise expect. But yeah, that's a great setup. 4670K and the GTX 760
that's
would
better
be
than my
fantastic.
Setup. Jeez, I need to upgrade. That's embarrassing.
I need to upgrade my video card. I'm still using a 670 on a 2560 by 1600 monitor. Okay.
Does G-Sync void your monitor's warranty? If you buy the kit and you install it yourself?
I don't know.
That was a question.
That's a good question. I don't know that. I don't know that off the top of my head.
That would be on the monitors, on the monitor manufacturer.
Yeah, it'd be up to the monitor manufacturer. My guess would be, since it's so new, that you could probably talk your way into it. But don't quote me on that, I guess.
You heard it from Paul, everybody.
For something like that, I mean, I don't know. It kind of goes back to like when bent pins on a CPU or something like that. If you take a monitor, you take it apart, you do an installation, it's a bit more advanced. If you happen to cut a cable or something like that that you can't fix, you know, it's probably within their rights to not RMA that for you. But you never know. A lot of companies are, you know, you can really talk to them, tell them your situation, and they'll try to help you out. So probably depends on the monitor manufacturer. Okay, we have another story here. I'm kind of excited about. Unless we got any more Twitter.
One
Twitter
more,
tweets.
just a really quick update. Somebody asked me when my next system config video is.
Oh.
So this is for my personal channel. For those of you who don't know, I do kind of like a reality web series about computers. And I'm on episode 2 right now. Episode 1 uploaded last week, and the client for that was really cool, so you can check that out if you want on Awesome Sauce News. But the second episode is with a very special guest. I think some of you might already know who that is, but for those of you who don't, I won't make it a spoiler alert. But that will be uploaded tonight. Guaranteed.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely. Making the final edits, so it should be up really soon. And also, while we're speaking of YouTube channels, Paul's channel is Paul's Hardware. So be sure to subscribe to all of us and give us likes and inflate our ego even further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And yeah, we've been waiting on that system config. We keep bugging Kyle and saying, Kyle.
Yes, I've been waiting on it too.
Because you shot it a while ago,
Lord
right?
knows.
Like a week or two ago?
I've been editing it like crazy.
Editing.
It's a long video.
Editing is time consuming. Okay, we have another story here. I'm excited about this one. We mentioned it. Oh, GTA 5 next gen release date leaked. This is from fansided.com.
Oh, yes.
Fansided or gamesided.com, depending on who you talk to. GTA 5 next gen release date leaked. So of course we have the next gen consoles, Xbox One and PS4. But we also, according to Czech Republic website Supergamer, I always go to the Czechs for my gaming news. GTA 5 is coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on June 13th, 2014. Website also lists a PC release of the game for the same day, June 13th, which makes sense to me.
Yes.
I feel like that would
That's
be...
probably the right one.
Because I feel like the reason they delay the PC release, like, I don't know, I'm sure there's programming issues that go into there, like, you know, it would take more time to have them all ready for release, but I feel like like what happened with me, and totally worked with me. I wasn't going to buy GTA 5 when it came out on the consoles, but then we got it here, and I started playing it, and GTA has been one of my favorite franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to consoles at least. And I played it, and I was like, I have to buy this now. Like,
yeah.
I know it's probably going to be a few months, if not more, so I bought it, and now when it comes out for PC, I'm going to buy it again.
Yeah, why
so
not?
It works. I mean, that's why they do this.
Yeah.
And I'm feeding into that.
I'm
feeding into that thing.
They're gonna platform.
So
Just
yeah.
go all out.
I don't know how to solve that problem though.
But I mean, it's not really fair to say it's useless for you to buy it on PC because there's going to be so much cool stuff that you could do with it. People are going to be modding the crap out of it. You're going to be having like Carmageddon all over again, right? Cars flying around and Gary's mod and stuff like that. It should be a lot of fun. And plus, it's going to look amazing. You're going to experience it in a whole new realm.
Yeah, the resolution you'll be able to have and draw distance. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. GTA 4, that was like... just so happy. I turned the draw distance up all the way, and rather than like when you're playing it on a console, like playing on Xbox, and like you can see the buildings pop up as the horizon, gets closer to them.
Right.
Draw distance far, and you're just like, it's so much better that way.
You'll be able to see all the mountains too, because there's a lot of mountain terrain, right, in GTA 5 as well.
Yeah.
So like, I see that. I'm going to climb that mountain. So way over there.
All that stuff. So stories there. This is, I mean, as with a lot of the stories, this is still early. It's rumor. It hasn't been officially announced.
There was another report that it said back up there that the PC version was going to release on the 13th or the 12th of March, which is in like.
The website also lists a PC release of the game for the same June 13th date, but other reports show a March 12th release date.
That would be amazing, but
that'd be cool. Earlier.
Yeah.
That's 3 months earlier, actually. Wow.
Yes.
Hey, if it comes out next month, that'd be sweet. But I don't know. I feel like they would. I don't know. It's hard to speculate, but I kind of see them doing all three at the same time.
Yeah.
Because then they could sort of coordinate the marketing efforts for it,
right?
Kind of do the relaunch and all that stuff. But still, exciting news. Been waiting for that for PC.
Indeed.
All right. Next up, we have our story. All right, we're doing a story on one of Linus's videos. So this popped up last night. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Linus and his videos, but what have they done? What have they done here? They've done Crossfire and SLI in the same computer.
Dun, dun.
Madness. Madness. I'm trying to jump around to the video here so I can show you guys. Look at that. All right, so this is a reference 780 Ti on the top slot. Then a 290X, then what looks to be a Gigabyte 780 Ti below that, and then another reference 290X. The top two 780 Ti's are SLI'd with the standard SLI bridge. The 290X's do Crossfire through the PCI Express bus, so no need for a bridge there. But Linus and Slick set up this contraption, and I didn't write it down, but they have a really hilarious name for it too, which I thought was quite amusing. But it works. That's the main point. Or no, that's not the main point. Although it is a good point to know.
One of the points.
They got this to work. They ran benchmarks on both of these, and it's one of those concepts that's kind of cool. I was all proud of my 4-way 780 Ti videos, and then I saw this and I was like, oh, that's cool too.
I wish I thought of that.
Yeah, you can control it. The way he controlled it was he has one video out from the 780 Ti's, one video out from the 290X's, both going into the same monitors, and then you just switch the input on the monitor to switch between which cards you're connecting from, and then you go into the display settings and tell it to make one monitor or the other the primary, and it worked. They were able to benchmark both sets of cards. He said there's some finickiness with the NVIDIA control panel and the Catalyst Control Center, so sometimes he had to force close one of those to do some stuff and then relaunch the other one. But both of them were together. And then the main point of this video, and I do like that he brought this around to something more than just a, hey, look what we did. An Audible ad, of course. And then he snuck in his Audible ad. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to the... All right, I'm just going to leave it here. So the reason he did this is because he's showing how this sort of disparity between the different technologies that are available by these different companies, since they're exclusive, means that we as consumers are forced to choose between one or the other. Do you want G-Sync from NVIDIA, or do you want Mantle capabilities from AMD? Both of these have proven so far to be effective in a lot of different ways, and useful and things that you'd want. And obviously, what all PC gamers usually want, it's kind of like why we're doing a 4-way 780 Ti video, is what is the best possible? That's always the question. Even back when I didn't really have much of a job and I wasn't making much money and I would follow computers and computing and PC gaming hardware, that was always the question. I don't care if I only have $500 to spend on a computer. Let's say I had an infinite amount of money. What could I do with that? So this is kind of proving that yes, you can work both of those in there together, but the practicality of it is not there at all. It's a $5,000 system he set up, and one other point Kyle made earlier was, I mean, this is a really over-the-top system, 270 ATIs and a 290, 290X. You could do this with just one NVIDIA card and one AMD card as well.
And they don't have to be top tier.
Yeah, it would work the same way. But should we have to make that choice? Should we have to make that sacrifice of one technology or the other, simply because the companies that are working on these things, granted, put a lot of time, a lot of research, and a lot of resources into developing them, but then the sort of competitive market economy forces them to sort of retain those so that they can use it as a selling point for their products. So I can kind of see both sides of it. At the same time, I would love to be able to access both of those at the same time, and that'd be cool.
Yes, I don't know. We should just totally steal their idea and make a SLI and Crossfire build.
Kind of like the white build?
Exactly like the white build. Have them hack into our video.
We'll have Linus and Slick hack into our video this time.
That's right.
Super sweet. Anyway, so that's one of the last story kind of things that we talked about. But next up, we have a new segment, right?
We
Kyle?
do?
Yeah. Didn't we give you a segment?
Oh sure. It's Kyle's Gaming Corner Extraordinaire.
Kyle's Game Corner, or Kyle's. I don't know. You're not really in a corner. There's not really many corners involved. But
Kyle's desk chair segment.
Okay, but Kyle.
About gaming.
The reason.
On Twitch.
Kyle, what happened to this story? It didn't.
What?
This isn't the right. This isn't the right one. He drew this. This is. This isn't the Adventure Time one.
It's not?
No, I don't think so.
Lies.
Did the wrong article get posted in here?
I don't think so.
Let's try it again. Oh, here we go.
Aha.
Oh no, it just went down to the comments.
Oh, okay.
Ah, okay, that's
there we go.
Adventure Time. Adventure Time creator has 4 game ideas for Double Fine.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. So if you guys are familiar with Adventure Time, it's a kids cartoon. I say that loosely because there's a lot of adult concepts in it that are kind of underlying. They're not exact. They're very subtle. Yeah, a lot of innuendo. Kind of like SpongeBob in a way, but probably a little bit more adult than that. But basically, the creator of that show has come up with a couple game ideas, video game ideas, and he's trying to team up with the folks at Double Fine, that brilliant gaming company, to try to make some video games. And he actually posted 4 of his video game ideas, all of his pitches, on the website, and it's kind of cool how he pitches them because they're all animated. He's hand drawn them, or not hand drawn them, but on the computer. I think he's got Photoshop open or something, and he kind of gives this little narration description of each of his ideas, and some of them are pretty hilarious. You kind of get to see how he thinks, and some of them I'd be like, oh, I'd play that.
So there's Cupid, you fat little scamp.
I also like the names he chooses for his games. They're pretty awesome.
So this is Cupid but his arrow's broken, so he goes and stabs. You can stab things. You play as Cupid.
Right.
You stab things.
Your arrow's broken.
The arrows.
So you have to go around stabbing people with your arrows, and when you stab 2 things together, you make them fall in love, and they don't have to be people. So you could stab a guy in the butt, and then stab like a cup or a car. And now all of a sudden, this guy's butt is in love with a car. It's hilarious. It just looks awesome. It's
kind of random. Also, the guy, the way he describes these, because these are all his pitch videos, so he'll do. If you guys want to check out the article after you're done watching here, the way he describes it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like his sort of tone of voice. There's one called "Damn It, Jerry," which is what was the premise of this one again? All right, so there's a king who loves building pyramids.
Out of humans. He loves human pyramids. But he has one rule for all of his human pyramids. And that rule is that Jerry must be on top of the pyramid.
And Jerry's
Jerry's
fat.
like 500 pounds. So everyone's
like, God damn it, Jerry.
The drawings are just hysterical.
Yeah. So... Anyway, and then there's basically the game is you're the fat guy climbing a human pyramid.
And the pyramids get more and more complex as you go through the levels, and things topple and get knocked over. But I think these are planning to be mobile games.
Yeah.
I think they're planning to be mobile games, so.
This one's no More McDonald's, which this one's a zombie game. I couldn't figure out why it was called No More McDonald's.
Well, it's probably, you know, it's apocalypse. Like, what's the biggest thing that you're going to be losing with an apocalypse? There's McDonald's. You have no more McDonald's. Like, the world is... Because when there's no more McDonald's, you know truly that the apocalypse has started. Because McDonald's are everywhere.
That's true.
Perhaps that's where he was going with it.
But that one, so you can play as a zombie or as a person, and he wants the zombies to be able to jump like up on buildings.
Fast zombies, like 28 Days Later zombies.
Yeah. And then the last one is little...
I like this one a lot, too.
Little Pink Best Buds. This one is just really random.
He's like explaining it, and as like he's like trying to explain the game, he's like, actually, I don't even know if this is a game. Like, this just might be some weird simulator type thing.
Yeah, but there's like this sequence that when you wake up and you're like locked in a truck or something, but then you climb out and then there's these little pink guys that want to be your friend.
Right.
And then there's going to be like a bunch of them that can be your friend that have different characteristics or something, but just little pink guys.
Special abilities, though. Like, that guy's got a dog. That third guy on the top is dead. That's his ability. One guy's really tall.
One guy's crying.
One farts.
There's one guy who farts. There's one guy with a boom box.
Pretty guy with lips.
There's another guy who's pretty. There's one guy on the bottom right who just has a huge leg. And yeah, anyway, just kind of random. All right, so that's Kyle's first selection for Kyle's Game Corner.
Yes, it was.
All right,
interesting.
Next up, Flappy Birds.
The game everyone's been talking about and loving to hate, and I don't blame them.
All right, now I've never played this game. I've been seeing posts about this game.
Don't bother.
And every post I see, I think to myself, why and who is doing this and everything. But apparently this game is popular enough that it's making $50,000 a day. And it's one guy who designed this?
One guy designed it probably in his living room in 3 days. He designed the game in 3 days,
cool.
And he alone is making $50K a day off of this stupid game that looks exactly like Mario.
So this article is kind of pointing out a lot of these subtle similarities between, say, the pipes that you're going over, which look very similar to Mario, the Flappy Bird itself, which looks kind of like a
crossbreed,
a mashup of a couple different Mario characters or Super Mario World characters, and that's pretty much it.
If you're unfamiliar with how the game works, it's extremely simple. You're basically this Flappy Bird, and you're always constantly falling, and you have to tap your phone to jump. Right, so you jump and then you fall, and then you tap again, you jump, and so you're constantly just jumping along the level. And there are these pipes that you have to go through. There will be a pipe on top and a pipe on the bottom, and you have to jump through that pipe. And you can't touch the top of you can't touch either of the pipes at all. And so that's all the game is. You're just running through these series of pipes, and obviously there's like pipes that are up here and pipes that are down there. So you kind of have to adjust, how frequently you tap and whatnot. But it's extremely difficult. Like, my friend was playing it during the Super Bowl. He wasn't even watching the game. I was like, what are you doing? You've been looking at your phone for hours. He's like, Flappy Bird. What the hell's Flappy Bird? I tried playing it. I literally tried it for like 5 minutes, and I got past one pipe. I couldn't get past the second pipe. He was like on 26 or something. And at the time, I had no idea. I'd never heard of this game, obviously, so I didn't know that it was such a huge deal. I didn't realize it had gone viral. I thought this was like some indie game that he had just found for free on his own time, and nobody else was playing it. And then I read this article today, and I'm like, that's the same stupid game I was just playing on Sunday.
And the game mechanic, as you describe it,
has been done
that's like
times.
Joust.
Joust. Yep.
On Atari.
Atari.
Like,
but
press the button to anyway. That's stupid. All right, so
way too late in the game.
We have some. If you guys want some closure though, and you've been playing Flappy Bird, we have this article.
Yes.
Oops. No, I don't want to download. There's Sweet Revenge, a game called Squishy Bird. And I feel like I'm not supposed to scroll down any farther than this, if I recall correctly.
Where you get to play as the pipe.
So
you have your revenge on those stupid
and you just
birds.
Squish the birds that come through.
Smash them.
Which looks
so much better.
Riveting. See, this is why I don't play games on my phone. I don't.
Neither do I.
I never play games on my phone.
Yeah.
I use my phone for a phone, and if I want to play a game, I go on my computer.
Yep. Battery life on my phone sucks as it is. So I'm not gonna bother.
I don't know.
It's so hot.
I guess I feel like if I'm going to be playing a video game, like, I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but it's if I'm going to play a video game, I need to be playing a video game instead of doing other things that I might be doing, like making a video or something a little bit more useful. So I don't want to play something where like I sit there and play it for an hour and then like, ooh, I got a high score or something. At least if you're playing like an MMO or like a, I don't know, I've been playing Assassin's Creed recently. It's like you have some progression and cool stuff happens, and there's some cinematics and I don't know, that sort of thing. I don't like games like this.
Yeah, because I feel like real, not real video games, but like PC gaming. Like I feel it's like entertainment. It's like a interactive movie, right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel like this is quite entertainment. This is more of just like a time-killing distraction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't appeal to me as much.
Neither me.
But at the same time, I can understand why it does to some people.
All right, a couple more stories here before we'll be finishing up. This is, I guess, akin to World of Tanks to some degree. All right, so this is
the real World of Tanks.
This is like live remote control tanks.
They're RC.
They're controlled by. So this is a Panzer Warriors RC Tank Club in Tokyo. And Kyle, you want to explain what happens here?
So there's this group of people in Tokyo that have kind of created this simulated tank arena. And they have these RC tanks that have cameras on them. They're infrared cameras. And they've also got turrets built in, so the turrets can turn and whatnot. Obviously, the tanks are mobile. But you basically shoot each other. And the way it works is there's lasers, there's targets on you, and it's basically like laser tag, but in a bunch of tanks. So you actually have a team of 3 people commanding each tank. You've got a gunner, a commander, and a driver. And between those 3 people, you roll around in your tank, shooting down other tanks with your little laser. And as soon as you shoot them, there's like an explosion noise, and the tank just stops dead in its tracks. And then I'm sure there's probably like a 5-second downtime before you respawn and are able to move around again. But
it's like laser tag with tanks that are remote controlled.
Yes.
And kind of like live video games, I guess. I don't know. This is sort of.
It's laser tag for lazy people.
Yeah.
If you don't want to run around in an arena and shoot people and get all sweaty, you do this. There's no physical activity involved.
It brought to mind, like, I mean, there's so many different things that people can do with video games. Also, it's really funny because this whole place is pretty hacked together. You can see the way they have all of their wiring and everything going on there. But I mean, it looks entertaining.
Yeah.
And like, what if you could remote in to do something like this? And you could control. So instead of playing a video game, you're actually controlling something physically, like a tank or something, and it's driving around. And instead of a game engine, it's just it's video of it. And like, would that be fun? It could be fun.
I think it'd be pretty cool.
I wonder how sustainable it would be, though. Like with a video game, you design a video game, you release it, it goes out there. You probably need to support it somehow with patches or updates, but it's not like if you had something live like this, you'd have to reset it every time. You'd have some labor costs involved or something like that. But still, it'd be kind of cool. I mean,
it might. Yeah, right. It might take the immersion out of the experience if you're like in this really heated battle and all of a sudden you just see like a giant person reach down and grab one of the tanks and pick it up to like get IT support or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird. And also, apparently, they've done it with robots, as you guys can see there at the bottom.
Right. It'd be cool if it was like if the tanks would actually like kind of explode. Not like with real fire or anything, but if there was a trigger and it just
pieces of them would pop off or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. All right.
A bit more satisfying.
So yeah, live multiplayer tank battles.
So with all of the virtual reality going on, with like Oculus Rift and stuff, it's really nice to see people actually moving forward in the realm of reality.
Yeah.
I would say.
Reality.
Indeed.
Getting back to that, we've come full circle.
Yes, we have.
All right, last story here. This is kind of a late one that we picked up. Call of Duty. You guys been playing that? When was the last time you played Call of Duty, Kyle?
The last time I seriously played some Call of Duty was probably Modern Warfare 2.
Me too.
That's when I was in college. That was like, what, 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Maybe 4 years ago?
I played some Modern Warfare 2 here with some other people at work because I was still working here. I was working here. I still am working here. And it was fun.
Yeah, that was the one I had a PS3 before I got into PC games.
Yeah, I didn't play COD Blops or any of the newer ones. Nope. But anyway, so I guess I should say what the story's about. Call of Duty is now a 3-studio franchise. So you got Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer Games. So Sledgehammer Games is the third developer that was added to this. So basically you have 3 studios all working on versions of the game, and each studio has 3 years, so they kind of stagger them so that they can maintain like a 1 game a year release cycle, I guess.
Right.
So if you're a Call of Duty fan, I would think this would be good news.
Yeah.
Possibly more regular content or not spreading out the resources of the 2 original studios. And then the question I would have for something like this is, how difficult is it to sort of maintain, you know, a semblance of uniformity between the games going from one to the other with the 3 studios? Like, I imagine they must collaborate to some degree, but you know, how much of that can you do if the one team that's working on the game that's coming out this year, and then you have another team that's working on a game that comes out in 2 years, and they come and like, oh, we want to do this, and the team that's working on that right now is like, we can't do that right now, you know, we're launching in a month or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
So don't be surprised if one Call of Duty in the future is like really dark and ominous, and the other one has like rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
Send down a unicorn attack.
That would seem to be the challenge for me, sort of, keeping all the games within the same franchise. Consistency.
Indeed.
Consistency. Okay. Let's go back to the wide cam. You want to do a few more? Oops. A few more tweets here before we sign off. It's 4:20 right now, so we're going a little bit later.
Don't get any ideas, kids.
Than we've gone before in the past.
Where can I get a Newegg egg? You can't.
A Newegg egg? These are actually Newegg.ca eggs. These are Canadian eggs right here.
Yeah. And they gave them to us because they're nice, because they're from Canada.
These are getting pretty old, actually. Do you think a PNY GTX 660 and ASRock Fatality board and an AMD FX 8320 are a good group? Yes, except the GTX 660 is kind of end of life, so I would go for a newer, either maybe a 760 instead. That would be cool. Oh, new tweets.
You want to do like a really quick Twitter blitz where they just answer, like, ask us really quick questions and we answer it really fast?
Sure.
And then we'll sign off?
We can't call it Twitter blitz though. That's been been taken.
We'll do a Twitter speed round.
How effective is GPU acceleration in Adobe Premiere? Is it worth spending extra money on a compatible card?
Yes.
Yes. If you have Adobe Premiere 5.5 or 6 or Creative Cloud CC, right? You can use Mercury Playback Engine, and it's great. If you are using Creative Cloud, you can use you can also use OpenCL. So that means AMD cards will work as well. So yeah, depending on which version. If you have one of those newer ones, definitely worth it. And I should point out the GPU acceleration is for stuff that you're doing right now live. So like if you overlay effects on the clips you're working with or something like that, it will be able to actually show you it in nice smooth playback rather than having to pre-render it or something like that. The GPU acceleration does not affect your rendering times. That's all. Right. That's all in the CPU. So
it is worth pointing out though that there's a certain list, a text file in your Adobe folder if you're going to be using Premiere or any Adobe software for GPU acceleration with Mercury Playback Engine, a list of compatible video cards with that feature. Not all the cards are added to it, but you can easily copy paste a certain code. You can just Google it online and copy paste that into the text file. It'll automatically update, and you'll be able to select your video card to enable that feature.
Yes. Like I have a 670 at home, which isn't on that list, but I went in and added it to the INI file, and it totally works, which is super sweet.
Yep.
You can play Squishy Bird at squishybird.com.
Sweet.
Super sweet. And anything new?
Oh,
remember, I can't show them here unless you favorite them.
You're right. Excited at all for the GTX 790? Yes.
Yes. Which is just a rumor, and we are not confirming the existence of, by the way. But if they were working on something like that, I would be excited.
I know nothing. Excited at all? Wait, no, that's the same one. What do you do in an ordinary day at Newegg? I come in, I do some scheduling, maybe shoot a video or two, do some yoked, talk to Paul, mess around, have lunch, and then go home and cry.
Me too.
Do you ever discuss Linux stuff?
Yeah, we're not necessarily Linux aficionados here. We love talking about things, so it's something we might discuss here on the live show. When it comes to tutorials and stuff like that, we try to stick with stuff that we are more familiar with, so we can give you guys more accurate information on that. And whereas several of us have dabbled in Linux, I don't think any of us have used it extensively. But the one thing I think we will be doing and showing more of Linux is with SteamOS, because that is imminent, and we're definitely going to be doing some coverage of that and some examples of building your own Steam machine, that sort of thing. So
yep,
that's pretty sweet.
Where did you get that sexy shirt?
What shirt?
The Sandforce one?
My shirt?
Whose shirt?
What's it directed at?
Whiskey Soldier. That it doesn't say.
Well, it's direct. It's you forever, Kyle.
Yeah, because I told everyone to tweet them all to me, but it could be for you.
Okay.
Well, I got this. I At I really don't remember what store at all. Macy's? Something? It's been years. It's been like a year or two. Some store.
I got my shirt from Sandforce. Yeah.
And you'll never forget it too.
I will never forget that. Yeah, I got this a while back when Sandforce was the hotness, and I still wear it because it's actually comfortable and it fits me well. Most of the t-shirts I wear,
and it's black. It matches everything.
Most of the t-shirts I wear, I got for free at work. That's just
me too.
Yeah.
Should I get a more expensive graphics card or a second one in Crossfire SLI? I have an AMD HD 7790.
It's a good question. Since you've already got the 7790, if you can find a really good deal on one, it might be worth it to go for Crossfire.
Or you could just sell it and then get a better card.
I usually recommend going with a faster, more expensive single GPU versus two cards for SLI, just because not all games take advantage of SLI and all that good stuff.
Yep. How would you go about to learn more about computer hardware? Would it be more appropriate to take a class or go the self-taught route?
I was perfectly happy with self-taught, but different people learn in different ways. The great thing is there's tons of resources available online to sort of self-teach yourself. Just make sure you're sticking to articles and stuff that's a little bit more reputable. Hopefully we fall within that category. But there's tons of people out there who review products and everything. So whatever your niche might be or whatever type of particular computer you're looking to build, there's tons of ways to learn. But you know, if you like a hands-on experience, if you like somebody to be there so you can ask them questions, I think that's the biggest benefit of having somebody teaching you directly, is because you might have a specific question that's not answered in the text or the video or whatever, and being able to ask something like that is very helpful.
Yep. I think that's about it for Twitter.
All right. Well, then, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We actually
went well over our 1 hour limit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We didn't really set a limit, but yeah, it's almost 4:30, so cool. If you guys happen to be sticking around and staying tuned for the WAN show, which should be theoretically starting soon, right? They're supposed to start at 4:30 Pacific?
Yes.
I think?
I believe so.
Anyway, if that's starting up, go over and tell Linus that, shoot, we didn't think of anything clever to tell Linus. How about Twitch chat? Can Twitch chat give us some brilliant a message to send to Linus? A message.
Tell him that we have a furry purple wall in our background.
Yeah.
What does he have?
How come Linus doesn't have a purple furry thing behind him?
We get down.
Yeah. More furry purpleness necessary in the WAN show. I guess you could also tell him that we didn't end up going with the Nah show, although that was a brilliant suggestion. Or we got eggs fired. Eggs fired. What's going on over there? I feel so lost not having the Twitch chat.
Tweet Linus calling him a glass hole.
Glass hole.
I see what you did there.
I don't know.
Tell Linus that he's been yoked.
Linus has been yoked. All right,
That's a good one. Well done.
Cool. Well, thank you again for tuning in and watching our live stream, everyone. Again, what are we calling it? We're calling it Alt+Tab.
Alt+Tab.
It's brilliant.
AT.
We'll make some.
AT in the his house.
We'll do some creative for that and make a title or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't forget to tune into Newegg TV, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Newegg. You can check out all of our videos over there. We're doing Yoked on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're answering your questions on Q&Egg, so you can send those questions to qandegg@gmail.com, and we'll pick some of those and answer them. And then live streams on Fridays. So we'll see you next week, although we're rotating people, so it might not always be Kyle and I. But I don't know who's doing it next week.
I haven't decided yet.
We'll figure it out. But thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.